thing is that the people in charge are pretty cool, which makes it a lot of fun. We have a good time with all the stuff we do. And second, they did not insult me before they put my story of breaking my foot with. But that's true. I broke my foot playing frisbee in a few places. I think I got paid for 2 bones, but I think I broke 3. So yeah, you still owe me a little bit of that. But my wife is a physician, and so she filled out the paperwork and everything. And I tell people it was like an Aflac commercial in our living room, because she filled out the paperwork. You know, how many bones did you break? You know, what doctor did you see? All this stuff. And she signed her name, and she flipped it over, and she said, "That's all? That's all I have to fill out?" And she said, "That's the easiest form I've ever filled out for money for an injury ever." So and I got my check, I think, 3 days later, which was very cool. So I learned how the business works, and it works well. And then the second thing is the philanthropic stuff that Aflac does, second to none. The Aflac Cancer Center is amazing. And it's you know, it goes without saying that Aflac does more than could ever be expected from someone. I mean, $67 million to date donated to the Cancer Center, and you can walk in there any day of the week. I've been there a number of times, and there are families of children who, some of whom can't pay for the treatments that their kids need, and it doesn't matter. They treat them anyway, and it's just an amazing facility. So proud to be a part of that. And then on top of all that, I get to drive a race car, and I get paid for it. So it's really neat. It's unreal. So. How many of you guys have been to this racetrack before and seen races here? Most of you. We raced here yesterday. It went really well. That was good. I almost broke my foot again on my backflip. The straightaway doesn't look very banked, but it's actually it's pretty steep. And I'm not doing a backflip today, whether I win or not. But this track is really, really exciting. It's very fast. It feels very fast. So when you drive down the corners, I don't know how fast we're going, maybe 180 miles an hour or something like that, but it feels extremely fast. And it's a really tough racetrack. It's one of my favorites. So I think we have a car that can win. I think we're in a position that hopefully we can win this race and you know, start on a kind of a forward drive to the front of the chase. I mean, that's our mission, is to win this championship. That's right. You guys have any questions for me? Anything you want to know about? Yes, sir.
What's the fastest your car ever went?
That's a good question. We don't have speedometers in the car, so you go as fast as you can all the time, but the TV people keep track of it, and I think probably about 207 or 208 miles an hour at California. I think that's the fastest we go.
Wow.
But yeah, if you're only going 200, you're slow. So you got it's amazing how even when you're going really fast, it never feels fast enough.
He has a local NASCAR
I race in an entry-level division on Long Island,
oh, yeah?
and I've been doing pretty good. And what do you think's the next step I should take?
Well, the first thing you got figured out is you're asking the question. Usually it's the parents asking the question and telling the person who's driving has to ask. So, you know, the biggest thing, it's like anything. I mean, you know, I'm sure all of you in this room have been successful at whatever it is you've been doing, and you all know that you know, you have to have that drive yourself, and you have to problem solve. But you know, the biggest thing is that if you're racing or something, like I never had enough money to go racing, so there's always a big struggle with money. So you just have to race whatever it is you can be competitive, even if it feels like it's not, you know, even if it's just an RC car or go-karts or something like that. Just race in what you can be competitive, and then look for other people who need what you can offer. You know, that's the secret to success in anything, I think, is asking people what they need from you. So you go ask 100 people if they need a race car driver, you know, one of them might say yes, and that's all you need. So that was my mission. I passed out a lot of business cards. I'd ask everyone. I'd walk through the pits and ask every single person if I could drive the race car. I got real good at rejection.
You need to drive them?
There you go. But good luck with it. Just be safe. Yes, sir.
Have you ever lost communication with the chief, and if so, what do you do?
Well, yeah, he asked if I've lost communication with the crew chief, and what do you do? So, over time, being such good friends, we've worked on a series of hand signals. Usually they just involve one finger, but we do have I think by NASCAR rules, you have to have radio communication. So you got to be very careful about, if you lose radio communication, you don't want to say you've lost it, because then they'll make you come and work on it. So what we do is if I'm touching the top of the door, when the caution comes out or whatever, I'll tap the top of the door. That means the car's a little tight, and I'll tap the on the bottom of the window. So top of the window, bottom of the window if it's loose. So high is tight, low is loose. And,
With one hand on the wheel, going.
yeah. Well, yeah.
That's caution.
Yeah.
Still
but-
half of the caution.
Yeah. So. Well, that's nothing. Yesterday, I spotted my wife walking over that crossover bridge. She was wearing a green sweater, and I didn't know she was going to do this, but she sat there through the national anthem. She's standing there, and she's my loving wife and everything. And I guess she left to go get some food, because about 35 or 40 were under caution. I'm like, hey, there's my wife, and she's got a bag of food. It wasn't Subway either, so I was so I'm waving at my wife's back there while we're getting ready to restart, and her brother was with her, and he was like, I just knew she was going to distract you and mess you up. So, even though we're racing, we're always looking around. You always.
Our son's doing donuts with one hand holding a checkered flag when he won this year, okay?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. What else you doing? So 2 more questions? Then we go to the driver's meeting? Is that what you said? Yes, sir.
When you guys are doing commercials, because you've done a few over the past couple of years with the other drivers, how does the camaraderie there, you guys?
Well, we all, I mean, it's a zero-sum game, so whatever, you can't be very good friends because you got to go out there and the whole point, every one of those cars is an enemy on the race day. You have to beat them, But then we're a traveling carnival, we're together every week, so even when you're really, really, really mad at somebody, what usually ends up happening is the next week they're like, oh, hey, you're doing a commercial with this guy, and you're like, ah. So there you are, get your makeup put on with them, and you're like, forget it, we'll just be buddies, because you just can't keep it going that long. One more question, yes.
Is there a driver that has inspired you, or you emulate, or looked up to?
Well, Mark Martin, I'd say, is the guy I look up to the most. He's a guy who's been doing this for a long time. He's committed. I mean, he's a guy that can, he could probably, outdrive most of the guys out there. He can outrun them, outthink them. He's just a dedicated guy. He's a guy I really looked up to, and he's helped me a lot. And we got along really well when I first started. He was kind of my mentor. And then we were racing at Bristol, and I guess I didn't know what was going on. I was in front of him, and he ran into me and tried to wreck me. And so I barely saved it, almost hit the wall. And in the back of my mind, I thought, I wonder what's going on. I wonder what happened, So I called him on Monday. I said, hey, Mark. He's like, yeah, Carl, how's it going? I said, good. I wondered what, it's like my 5th race. I said, I wondered what was going on at Bristol, did you do something? He's like, oh, no, there's no offense. I noticed that the week before you bumped into me a little bit, and I thought that's how you wanted to race, so I figured that's how we'll race. He said, okay, we'll have a good day. And I said, no. I said, I'd really like to start over. He said, oh, okay, well, we can do that. He said, I just want you to know I'll race you however you race me. I said, yes, sir, I will start over, and everything will be good. And from then on, we've been great. But he taught me a good lesson right there, You got to treat people the way you want to be treated on the racetrack, or they'll come back to you quick. He's a pretty cool guy. So. Communication. All right. We really have. Okay. Thank you guys very much for everything.
Thank you.